Good evening to all pro wrestling fans of all shapes and sizes from all around the world. Welcome to another Pro Wrestling Talk video brought to you by Blitzball Champ Gaming here on the YouTube. I'm your host, Blitzball Champ Jason Ingram. So, a couple of things for this video. I will be going over the current standings of the Best of Super Juniors 32 tournament. And I will also give my review of Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling's Northern Rising that I just finally got around to watching in full. So, but before I get started, I wanted to mention some recent news that I just found out. So, has to do with Ice Ribbon. So, Curie, which is somebody that I met in Japan when I attended the Ice Ribbon Ribbon Mania show to close out 2024, announced that on my birthday, May 31st, she will have her last match in Ice Ribbon and then will become a freelancer. Apparently her contract with Ice Ribbon will be up and she is not renewing. So after that match, she will continue on as a freelancer. So very curious to see what's going to happen with Curie. Maybe see how long she will be a freelancer. Of course, at the time I met her, she was the Triangle Ribbon champion. But yeah, she was really cool to meet. And just looking forward to her finishing strong and Ice Ribbon, and then best of luck to wherever she decides to go next in her freelance transition. But glad I got a chance to meet her. She was really cool. Okay, so we're going to start off with New Japan Pro Wrestling. They have kicked off over the weekend the Best of Super Juniors 32 tournament. Got a couple of standings to go over, so without further ado, let's jump right into it. Let's do it. Okay, we're first going to start off with the A block, as usual. So, pretty much everybody has gotten a chance to have a match. So let's go ahead and look how the scores sit. So far, we have, 5 competitors that started off with 0-1 records with 0 points. Those competitors are, Kushida, Master Wato, Francesco Akira, Robbie X, Yoshinobu Kanemaru. So let's start with Yoshinobu Kanemaru. 0-1, opened up with a loss to Dragon Dia, which was kind of interesting considering Dragon Dia at the last Best of Super Juniors tournament he competed in, he lost every match until his last match. So, that's got to be rough, seeing Yoshinobu Kanemaru open up with a loss to Dragon Dia. Ooh, yikes. Okay. And then Robbie X, although he had a great showing in his first match, opened up 0-1, lost to Ninja Mac. That was really a great match. Francesco Akira, many would say, was just upsetted by Kosei Fujita. And he starts off 0-1. So that was quite an upset for Kosei Fujita. Master Wato opened up with a loss to Clark Connors. And Kushida opened up with a loss to Hiromu Takahashi. And then, of course, opening up 1-0, 2 points each, are Ninja Mac, Hiromu Takahashi, Kosei Fujita, Clark Connors, and Dragon Dia. So as I said before, Dragon Dia opens up with a win over Yoshinobu Kanemaru. Clark Connors opens up with a victory, a pretty big victory considering Master Wado won the Best of Super Juniors 30 tournament. But yeah, big victory for Clark Connors over Master Wado. You had Kosei Fujita with the upset victory over Francesco Akira. Hiromu Takahashi opening up with a victory over Kushida. And of course, Ninja Mac opening up with a victory over Robbie X and had the best spot so far in the tournament. Made me want to get a flip counter because Ninja Mac did a super ninja special to the point where he not only flipped and went over the top rope to the floor, but continued to do backflips all the way up the entrance towards Robbie X as he was backing up, and then eventually took down Robbie X with one of his flips. Just call Ninja Mac flipper, because that's what he definitely did in his match with Robbie X. But yeah, best spot so far in this tournament. Okay, let's look at Block B. Block B. So, competitors that opened up with losses so far are, let's see, Yo, Kevin Knight, Teton, Taiji Ishimori, and Sho. So they open up with 0-1, 0 points. And the competitors that opened up with victories, starting off 1-0 with 2 points each, are last year's winner, El Desperado, Ryusuke Taguchi, Robbie Eagles, Nick Wayne, and Mao. Let's take a look at Mao. Mao opened up with a victory against the Jet Kevin Knight. Of course, Mao making his Best of Super Juniors debut from the DDT promotion. Nick Wayne from AEW opening up with a victory against Sho. I was actually very impressed to see that. I mean, that's pretty big. A big opening victory for Nick Wayne, making his Best of Super Juniors debut. But yeah, keep an eye out for Nick Wayne. I got a feeling he's going to make a decent amount of noise in this tournament. Same thing with Mao. Let's see. Robbie Eagles with a victory over Yo, which, you know, Robbie Eagles and Yo, I felt like was kind of an even matchup. Felt like could have gone either way. But Robbie Eagles was able to get the victory. Let's see. Ryusuke Taguchi, a big victory over Taiji Ishimori. But then again, you have to also remember, Ryusuke Taguchi has won a Best of Super Juniors tournament before. So, of course, Taiji Ishimori was a finalist last year. So, still a pretty big victory. El Desperado with the victory over Teton, which, of course, he won this tournament last year. So, expect Despy to be a threat. But yeah, so got quite an interesting start to the tournament so far. Let's see. Let's go back to Block A. I want to see where the next upcoming matchups are. So let's see. It's currently May 12th. So let's see when the next A block matches are. Looks like May 14th will be the next few block matches for Block A. Let's see some matchups. Oh, Francesco Akira versus Ninja Mac. Ooh, that ought to be really good. That ought to be good. Hiromu Takahashi versus Kosei Fujita. So you have which one of those two can go up to 2-0. Let's see what else we got. We got Robbie X versus Kushida. That ought to be an interesting matchup. Of course, they'll be battling to see who can get their first win. Yoshinobu Kanemaru versus Clark Connors. That should be good. And Dragon Dia versus Master Wado. Ooh, that's going to be a challenge for Dragon Dia. Taking on a winner of this tournament from a few years ago. So, wow, those are some interesting next matchups for the A block. So that should be really good. I'm going to definitely be keeping my eye on Ninja Mac versus Francesco Akira. I think that's going to be an excellent match. But yeah, that's the 14th, which that is Wednesday. Yeah, it's Wednesday. All right, how about Block B? See what the next matchups for Block B. It looks like Block B has some matchups for May 14th as well. Okay, let's take a look. Ryusuke Taguchi versus Teton. That should be an interesting matchup. The Jet Kevin Knight versus Robbie Eagles. Ooh, I'm actually looking forward to that one. That should be really good. Show versus Yo. Of course, formerly together were Roppongi 3K. But, they used to have quite a rivalry. But they will meet this Wednesday. Show versus Yo. That should be really good. Ooh, El Desperado versus Nick Wayne. I think this is a first-time matchup between these two. Oh, man. I'm actually looking forward to that match. I'm very curious to see how Nick Wayne will do against El Desperado. Let's see. Oh, we got Mal versus... Let's see, who is this? Mal versus Taiji Ishimori. Ooh, that should be really good. That one could go either way. So, wow. May 14th. Got some really interesting matchups coming up for the Best Super Juniors 32 for out of both blocks, really. But yeah, should be fun. Should be a lot of fun. And like I said, that's this Wednesday, May 14th. So definitely looking forward to checking out those matchups. Okay, now let's switch gears and finish off with Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling. They had Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling Northern Rising, which took place this past Saturday, May the 10th. This was at the Matami Athletic Center in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. And pretty good show for the most part. Let me pull up the graphics. And the only bad thing is apparently they had a pre-show match, which they didn't have on their live stream, which that is kind of a bummer that they do that. Like, they can't even put it on their YouTube channel or anything like that, so it's kind of a bummer. Anyway, let's jump right on in to the action with the first match. Let's go. First match for Northern Rising. We had a singles match between QT Marshall and the walking weapon, Joshua Alexander. Pretty nice opening match for the most part. Let's see. Match went 11 minutes. But yeah, definitely was back and forth. Of course, Sheldon Jean was in the corner of QT Marshall. But when it was all said and done, Josh Alexander was able to submit QT Marshall with a sharpshooter. So, shout out to Brent the Hitman Hart. But yeah, got the submission victory. And yeah, not a bad opening match. Not a bad opening match. Let's see. Moving on to the next match. Continuing on with singles action with this excellent technical showdown. All right. A matchup that we've seen before and just gets better and better every time. Had ourselves a singles match between the Octopus, Jonathan Gresham, and the Young Punk, the front man of the Mighty Don't Kneel, Zack Sabre Jr. This was a very fun match. Very fun technical struggle between both of these incredibly excellent high-level technical wrestlers. Went 16 and a half minutes, and it was just really entertaining back and forth with the chain wrestling, the counters, the different submission attempts. Like, just, if you love technical wrestling, this should be a go-to for you. And it did not disappoint. Definitely went hold for hold, strike for strike. And it was a thing of beauty. But it would be Zack Sabre Jr. that would get the victory, nailing the European clutch, which Gresham did attempt a European clutch himself, but oh no. He couldn't quite get it down like Zack Sabre Jr., so Zack Sabre Jr. had to show him how it was done, and was able to get the pinfall with the European clutch. Zack Sabre Jr., your winner. Great sign of sportsmanship afterwards. And like I said, these two have met before, and, it's really cool to every now and then see really technical struggles between two really, really excellent technical wrestlers, and that one did not disappoint. So, great match to both gentlemen, but Zack Sabre Jr., your winner. All right, next up, we went to the ladies for some singles action. Check it out. All right. Had ourselves a singles match between the pink striker Miyu Yamashita and the woman of 1,000 holds, the Professor, Serena Deeb. Another great match between two very fine wrestlers. Match lasted just under 13 minutes. And it was definitely back and forth between both these ladies. Of course, Miyu Yamashita really has been wrestling everywhere, especially overseas. But definitely was good to see both these ladies go at it. It was back and forth. Really could have gone either way, but it would be the Professor that would prevail as she hit the Death by Deebs on Miyu Yamashita, then pinned her for the 1-2-3. Serena Deeb, your winner. It looked like Miyu Yamashita wanted to show some sportsmanship, but Serena Deeb wasn't having it. She ended up leaving. But statement made by the Professor, Serena Deeb, but a great effort as usual from Miyu Yamashita. But yeah, great match, just under 13 minutes. All right, how about some tag team action next? Check it out. All right, we had more Bullet Club Old School versus Bullet Club New School / War Dogs. As we had a tag team match between Bullet Club War Dogs of Finlay, David Finlay and Drilla Moloney taking on the Good Brothers, Doc Gallows and the Machine Gun Karl Anderson. Another solid match. Definitely was cool to see these guys go at it. Wasn't really a fan of the finish though. The action was great. The action was great back and forth. I felt like the crowd was into it, and it was fun. But wasn't a fan of the ending. But I could see this as this being a continuation of a storyline between, OG Bullet Club and Bullet Club War Dogs, because we even got to see that at Resurgence as well. So I think they're just doing different ways of continuing this angle. And honestly, I like it. I like it. But the action spilled outside the ring and went all the way to the back, therefore resulting in a double countout. But it's definitely not over between these groups. And like I said, it was good to see the Good Brothers. And like I said, I don't know if they're going to be freelancers or if they are signed to New Japan, but I think we're going to be seeing a lot more of them within this month and just going forward. So I can dig it. Can you dig it? Because I can dig it. Okay, next up, we had our first title match of the card. Alright, check this one out. Alrighty, we had the NWA World's Heavyweight Championship. The 10 pounds of gold on the line. As the champion, Thom Latimer defended the title against Stu Grayson. Good match. Definitely a lot of fighting spirit shown from Stu Grayson. He really put up a great effort. The match lasted 11 minutes, 30 seconds. Could have been a little bit longer, but I think for the length that it was, the action was great. And like I said, Stu Grayson showed a lot of fighting spirit, even going as far as kicking out of the brighter side of suffering. And it really made Stu Grayson look pretty strong in this match. And although I figured that he wasn't going to dethrone Thom Latimer, like I said, he put up a great fight. A really great fight, showcasing his strong style and high-flying abilities. But it would take a pop-up powerbomb from Thomas Latimer to put away Stu Grayson for the 3 count. Thom Latimer, still your NWA World's Heavyweight Champion. And like I said, I can't say that I really keep up consistently with NWA, but sounds like he's been champ for a while. So I don't see that changing anytime soon, but you never know. But Thom Latimer, still your champ. Okay, let's go to our next matchup. How about some triple threat action, eh? Let's do it. All right. Had a triple threat match between Gabe Kidd, Michael Oku, and Speedball Mike Bailey. This match was a lot of fun. Very action-packed. All 3 of these guys looked really great, especially representing, different promotions. Of course, Gabe Kidd with New Japan Pro Wrestling, Michael Oku with Rev Pro, Speedball Mike Bailey of AEW, recently acquired AEW. So definitely quite a showcase between all 3 of these competitors. This match went 21 minutes, 50 seconds, so almost 22 minutes. It was a lot of fun. I felt like each competitor had a ton of offense and a good amount of momentum as the match was going forward. It was really cool seeing Gabe Kidd taunt the crowd and got on the mic and everything during the match, so that was pretty funny. But and Michael Oku got to the point where he was bleeding from the mouth, but still kept hanging in there. And like I said, the action was awesome, but it would be Speedball Mike Bailey who got the big shift after hitting a double Ultima Weapon, did the Ultima Weapon on both Michael Oku and Gabe Kidd, and then took out Michael Oku with the 540 crescent kick that he calls Time Adventure. Took out Michael Oku with that, pinned him for the 3 count. Speedball Mike Bailey, at home, picked up the victory in the triple threat match. A very exciting match, action-packed. All 3 competitors were great, but it would be Canada's own Speedball Mike Bailey that would walk away with the victory. Great match. One of my favorites of the card. All right. Let's go to our next match. Another championship match. Here we go. All right. This singles match is to crown the first ever Maple Leaf Pro Women's Canadian Champion. They had a tournament for this, and it is now down to these 2 finalists. We got Smiley Kylie Ray and the quintessential diva Gisele Shaw. Great back and forth match, which apparently the Iceman was in Gisele's corner. But this was a great back and forth match between these 2, and it was at least good to see that the Iceman got sent to the back. I mean, ultimately it wouldn't really make that much of a difference, and I'll explain why. But both these ladies went back and forth. Of course, crowd behind Smiley Kylie Ray. Gisele Shaw, clearly the heel in this match. But it was definitely back and forth, but it got to the point where Kylie Ray definitely gained a big amount of momentum towards the end, and it looked like she was going to be able to put away Gisele Shaw. But Gisele Shaw was able to grab a hold of a foreign object. I couldn't quite tell what it was, but had the opportunity to pull that out while the ref was pulling back Kylie Ray. Took advantage of an opening and decked Kylie Ray with that foreign object. Followed it up with the denouement running knee strike. And then pinned her for the 1, 2, 3. And just like that, Gisele Shaw is your inaugural Maple Leaf Pro Women's Canadian Champion. So there you have it. She wins. She's your champion. There you have it. Had to cheat, but not surprised. Okay, and then the main event of Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling Northern Rising came down to this. The Maple Leaf Pro Canadian Championship to be decided in a 20-man gauntlet. So, excuse me. So the way this works, 20-man gauntlet, you get eliminations by tossing your opponent over the top rope to the outside, both feet touching the floor. when it came down to the final two left in the ring, it would turn into a regular singles match. So, first off, I'm going to go over the order of competitors as they entered, and then go over how they were eliminated. So, the competitors first started off with Rich Swann and El Phantasmo. So they were the first two to start this gauntlet. Then you had Bhupinder Gujjar, Brent Banks, Rhino, Billy Gunn, Psycho Mike, Slex, Michael Allen Richard Clark, PCO, Johnny Parisi, QT Marshall, Josh Alexander, Sheldon Jean, Santino Marella, Bishop Dyer, Mo Jabari, Raj Desi, Alex Zane, and the last one was Matt Cardona. So those were your 20 men for this championship gauntlet. The action was definitely great overall. It did get to a point where very interesting situation happened. So let's start going over the eliminations. Brent Banks was the first one to be eliminated. Bhupinder Gujjar eliminated him. Then when Rhino came in, he was goring everybody. And then he eliminated El Phantasmo. Let's see, Slex eliminated Bhupinder Gujjar. Then Psycho Mike eliminated Michael Allen Richard Clark, and then he turned around and eliminated Psycho Mike. Once PCO came in, he eliminated Slex, Billy Gunn, and Rhino, one after the other. And then a very interesting segment happened where, as Johnny Parisi was making his entrance, Dan Mouth appeared and attacked PCO. Now, Dan Mouth, who has wrestled for like ROH and, has done some indies here and there. I haven't seen him in forever. Attacked PCO. And then all of a sudden, a whole bunch of security came in. Dan Mouth wiped them out. And all of a sudden, Jimmy Jacobs shows up with a steel chair and pretty much hands it to Dan Mouth, and they just beat down PCO. And then Dan Mouth takes off his belt and starts choking PCO, and even hung PCO from the rope on the outside. Or actually it was from the inside, but he kind of was, choking him with the belt. And once QT Marshall came in, he pretty much eliminated PCO since he was vulnerable. But yeah, really weird segment there. Let's see. Then Josh Alexander eliminated QT Marshall. Then Santino Marella eliminated Johnny Parisi. Then Bishop Dyer eliminated Santino. Rich Swann then eliminated Mo Jabari. Bishop Dyer eliminated Alex Zane. Matt Cardona eliminated both Bishop and Rich at the same time. Let's see. Sheldon Jean eliminated Raj Desi. Josh Alexander eliminated Sheldon Jean. So the final two came down to Josh Alexander and Matt Cardona. So therefore it turned into a singles match between those two. Seemed like Matt Cardona got a little bit of momentum on Josh Alexander, but it wouldn't be enough. Ultimately, in the end, Josh Alexander was able to hit the C4 spike on Matt Cardona, pinned him 1, 2, 3. And ladies and gentlemen, the walking weapon, Josh Alexander, not only won the opening match, but wins the main event and becomes the new Maple Leaf Pro Canadian champion. What a night for the Walking Weapon. Winning in the opening match and winning championship gold in the main event. You best believe he got his aid. That's all I know. But overall, pretty good show. Pretty good show overall. And I believe their next show is Maple Leaf Pro Resurrection, which I believe will be at the beginning of July. So we got a little while before that show. But word is that Rohit Raja is going to host an open challenge and put up the PWA Champions Grail on the line in said open challenge. So we'll see who ends up accepting the challenge. Should be good though. Should be good. Like I said, shout out to Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling. Of course, Don Callis, Mauro Ranallo were on commentary. And don't forget, Josh Alexander is part of the Don Callis family. So, as weird as that is, but he's part of the Don Callis family. But, overall, good show. I will say Maple Leaf Pro has definitely... It's been a good promotion to watch. It's actually been a good promotion to watch. You know, I can't complain. I can't complain. It's really been good. But anyway, that'll do it for this video. Let me know what your thoughts are about the. Well, first off, how do y'all feel about Curie getting ready to leave Ice Ribbon, have her last match in Ice Ribbon, not renewing her contract, and becoming a freelancer afterwards? Let me know your thoughts on the current standings of the Best of Super Juniors 32. Have you been enjoying the tournament so far? Still really early. Still a lot to see, but let me know what you think so far. And let me know what you thought about Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling's Northern Rising. Were your predictions right? Did you enjoy the show? Let me know. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell while you're at it. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. For another Pro Wrestling Talk, brought to you by Blitzball Champ Gaming here on the YouTube, the Tube. I'm your host, Blitzball Champ Jason Ingram. Hope everybody has a blessed day tomorrow, and I will see y'all on the next video and our live stream. Later.